You know, like I go and make a show, I just make it the way I think would be good. And then every day I'm like, well, maybe it'd be good to do this. And then you do it, and then you get to the end and you do the press tour, and they're like, so why did you do it? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know why I did it.
I'm not sure about this dress.
Like, it's so pretty. It's just like, it's not really funeral appropriate.
Why didn't the lady in the store warn me I look like a child or a widow?
I don't know, I just thought it'd be like fun to see me hanging out with 2 teenage girls. That's it. That's the whole thing. And I'm sure at one point I did a pitch. Like I definitely pitched these executives, you know? And I would have spoken, you talked for 45 minutes, and I would have told them why it was really important personally to me to tell the story, and really specifically for their network, why it would be good for them, and why it's an important story for the world. But Josh, why? I don't know why. And I honestly, looking back at anything I've done in my life and wondering why is always like, not easy.
So you're gay?
What? No, I'm not.
Why'd she break up with you?
I don't know. I'm gay.
Oh, cool.
I made out with a boy, male boy.
I don't understand it. Why would you do it on the same day that we break up?
I didn't mean to, I promise. He was just there.
We finished Please Like Me, and I went to like Cuba and like just went on holiday. Like it took me a long time to figure out what I wanted to do next. And this felt like the thing, and it felt like it'd be really fun. I try to make shows that are like authentic, that like portray like the world and the kind of the way I think it is in real life more than what I'm used to seeing on TV. So that's like what I come in on. And I felt like at the moment high school's really well served. Like there's a lot of like good shows about high school, but when I was pitching there weren't as many. Most of those shows are new. So I felt like kind of like teenagers were underserved as far as like truthful, real storytelling went on. And I felt like people with autism, especially girls with autism, were like, was an absolute drought on like good storytelling when it came to that. So they were like 2 things that I was like interested in doing. And then you've got me in it because I needed a job. Yeah, having a character with autism was scary for me because my last show was like, we dealt with sensitive stuff, but they're always very personal. My last show was about my mom having bipolar, and my she's got bipolar, right? So I got licensed to talk about that, and I'm not really like, I'm not like really open to criticism on my storytelling on bipolar themes. I'm an expert at it.
The most obvious symptom is that your testicles do not develop in puberty. So people who have this disorder have tiny, tiny testicles. So that's why I asked you how big yours are to check.
They're fine, okay? I promise you. Please believe me that they're fine.
How do you know?
Just...
What are you comparing them to? I mean, how many testicles have you seen?
For me, it's with the bipolar and with autism or with like a queer character, it's not about trying to represent the whole thing, right? Like me as a gay character, I'm not trying to say this is what gays are. And with like mentally ill characters, I'm not saying like this is what a mentally ill person is. It's about trying to find specificity of character, right? So trying to find one version of a girl who has autism, who's grown up in this way and how she would behave, and trying to represent her really authentically. And then as the season goes on, we have like another girl who has autism, and she's like very different.
I have autism, and Dad used to get frustrated when I always made things about myself. But he is dead now. Surprise!
It's definitely like scary when you're doing representation for a group of people that's so underrepresented, because when you're so underrepresented, the representation, little scrap of representation that you get becomes like so important because like they so want it. I think it can be hard because if they don't see themselves in these particular characters, they can feel like kind of hurt by that. So it's like risky territory. We're not really trying to represent autism, we're trying to represent Matilda. And she to me feels like a very real, true person that like through research and through meeting people and through like interacting with our actor, Kayla, who is on the spectrum, we've like made that, I think, authentic, even though I am to some degree an outsider.
I would like to offer myself up to be your guardian.
But you don't know how.
Not yet. And let's be honest, like, am I the best catch? No, I'm not. I'm like messy and clumsy, and I don't know how to drive. A big problem.
Well, what's the point of killing someone if you don't care about them? Do you know what I mean? Like, if I'm gonna kill a character, I want you to be sad about it. That's the point. Yeah, I mean, I think like probably more traditionally in this kind of format, you would like kill the parents really quickly. You know, like it's like a Disney show, and like all Disney movies start with like the parents being killed, which I just think is really funny. And usually you would meet them for like a second and then they just go die. But I really wanted you to like spend some time with him and get to know him so that you understood what these kids lost and you understood like where they're coming from and you understood as well a bit like of why they are the way they are. And then so that when he dies, you get sad. Like if you don't meet him properly, then you don't get to really experience it properly.
This feels weird because me and you have never had to like talk about things.
I got my period.
Your first period, aren't you like 14? Isn't that like a little old?
That's not the right thing to say.
When you're like running, you're like literally in the dark. Like you're just sitting in the dark for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and you just get like little decisions thrown at you, and you make them. And then you never really know if it's going to be right. And you get to the end, and when it comes together well, it feels like a miracle. And when it comes together not that well, you think, well, yeah, that's what we were doing. And then you fix it in the edit. But it's very like, it's just instinctual and you're just like mucking around with your friends trying to not make the wrong choice. I did this like one scene where I was crying and the bugs on my face, they were like dung beetles. And dung beetles, they're bugs that they live in shit, right? And what they do is they burrow down into the shit. And I wasn't so bothered really by the fact that they live in shit. I was like, yeah, put it on my face, whatever, you know, like after all I've been through, and it's gonna bother me. But what I didn't realize is they have these 6 little pincers, and the 6 little pincers, they like would find like any little crevice of movement in my face, and they'd start like trying to pull it apart and dig into my face as if my face was a poo. And the bug lady, Diana, who was like really nice, just kept telling me to breathe. And like nothing makes me more mad than being told to breathe. Nothing makes me want to breathe less than someone telling me to breathe. I'm breathing! Just get the bug out of my eye. I wrote it. I hired the bug lady. I chose the bugs. The thing about the bug beetles is they're rainbow dung beetles and they're so pretty. She told me. Like, none of it was a surprise. None of it wasn't my choice and none of it wasn't a surprise. And that's the thing, you know. Sometimes we make mistakes. And that was one of them. I cry in it. If you ever see the scene, you see me drop this like single tear like an old-fashioned movie. And it's like the most pure performance I've ever done. But the tear's not because of the relationship I meant to be crying about. The tear is because this lady kept telling me to breathe when I had a dung beetle trying to live inside my nostril. No one's allowed to live inside my nostril. I was with my ex-boyfriend for 5 years. He never got that close, you know?
Thought you were supposed to be cool.
Yeah, I'm cool.
Your torso's too long.
Oh my God, she's right. I'm me, and I'm here, and I'm trying my best.